that's really two questions. How to make brands relevant, which also backs up to why brands. So everybody steams straight into brands. The answer is brand, now what's the question? And that may not be the answer. The answer, usually, you want people to buy what you make. And everybody is now lazy enough to think all you do is you get brand values and you punt out brand values. And so what we've got is we've got what people who call themselves strategists, who are just actually sociologists, and you do lots of human understanding and you forget that we're in the business of actually selling things, that we're in the business of actually making people remember the name of what we sell, so that you can actually, ordinary people, cab drivers, housewives, secretaries, ordinary people, school kids, can go and can remember the name of it and buy it when it's got zero importance in their life. And sociologists are carrying on as if their whole lives are all about the insights that they've gleaned for some focus groups. So now add to that some more mysticism about the age of connectivity, and what we've got is people not acting like human beings anymore, they're acting like we're in the Matrix. So, and then they all wonder why all of a sudden advertising doesn't work and everybody wants to use ad blocking, because nobody talks to anybody like human beings anymore. No, just shut off all of that and watch yourself when you go around the supermarket. And how do you buy? What do you buy? You know, the David Ogilvy said that the way advertising people think consumers work is two housewives sitting on the top of a bus, and one looks in the other one's shopping basket and she sees she's got Omo, and she says, "Oh, you bought Omo, I thought you used Tide." And the other one says, "Yeah, I used to use Tide, but they switched to Futura Condensed from Bodoni, and I don't find Futura Condensed supplies my brand needs." That's like, you know, that's not how people are. You just look at yourself, look at anybody. Brands, a teeny weeny little bit I once said to my mum when I very first got into advertising, "Why do you buy Cadbury's and not other chocolate?" And Mum said, "Oh, well, I don't know. You see it around a lot, don't you? It must be a good name. It must be reliable, I suppose. It must be a good quality." And that's about the level. Now, let's make that as complicated as possible until it absolutely dies from paralysis and overthought. And that's when you get into questions like 3.79 against 6 in the age of, what was it, connection?
Yeah, age of connections.
This is like why most of it don't work and why you end up with people wanting to block it out, because you need to get back to humans talking to humans. Okay, well, it's very simple. Where it goes wrong, where is marketing people think advertising is marketing, and it isn't. Marketing is marketing. Advertising is the voice of marketing. Now, marketing people, of course, you can do marketing, great. Then you stop. Then you give it to someone who's a specialist, not in marketing, but in getting whatever you've decided heard, against all the other noise out there and against all your competitors. If you're a specialist in marketing, if you then come and try to do advertising, you will fail, because that's not your specialism. You will have these great thoughts that never get heard because you don't do advertising, and you've hired a specialist, you've got a dog and you're barking yourself. You hire an advertising person, advertising agency, to take your thinking and get it heard against all the competition. The numbers are £18.3 billion spent every year in the UK on advertising and marketing. 4% remembered positively, 7% remembered negatively, 89% not noticed or remembered. That's 17 billion quid totally wasted because marketing people think advertising is a subset of marketing. And if they can do marketing, then advertising is just one of the things they do on the side. No, you've done your thinking, now you need someone to get that heard. And that's in the 4% that gets remembered positively or the 7% that gets remembered negatively. They also confuse it with thinking that the job of advertising is to be liked. No, the job of advertising is to get heard. There's tons of advertising, like Go Compare and things like that you don't necessarily like, but it works because it cuts through and you remember it. Now, if it works, it's nice, but it's not the job. Form follows function. The job is to be heard and the job is to work. Until there's this kind of clarity, nobody can do it properly. People are so over confused with working on the details and ignoring the big picture. I think you need to know anything about storytelling. Storytelling is just another stupid name for what's the latest storytelling, curating, heuristics, whatever the latest word is to make what you're doing sound more interesting and complicated. All storytelling means is make it interesting. Well, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? When has anybody ever not made it interesting? Before there was electricity, you made it interesting. Before there was printing, you made it interesting. Beowulf survived word of mouth because it was interesting. If you have to compete with anything else, you have to make it interesting, more interesting than whatever else is out there. Now, storytelling is just the latest gimmick name that everybody can learn and run around with and learn about storytelling. And just think about how people work, how humans work. Bill Bernbach said, our proper area of study is simple, timeless human truths. And behavioural economics is described as human understanding for business advantage. So we want business advantage, we do human understanding, and human understanding is Bernbach's simple, timeless human truths. Now, what we do is marketing should solve business problems, and advertising should solve advertising problems. And you don't use advertising unless that solves a business problem. You don't knee-jerk straight into advertising and hope it solves whatever problem you've got. The most important thing is solving the business problem. So first you sit down and marketing isolates what the business problem is. And people don't do that nowadays. They ignore the business problem and steam straight into let's do some advertising, and what's the latest advertising gimmick? Storytelling. Let's do some storytelling. Let's read some textbooks on storytelling. And nobody's ever actually thought of what you're doing and why. So it isn't form follows function, it's function follows form. And people are doing it arse backwards, which is why most of it doesn't work. It all looks like mood boards run back to back on TV, and people want ad blocking to cut it out. We all do.